Eating crow. The next morning, Cecile stood outside our door and said, "It's 9 o'clock. Why y'all still here?" Vanetta pointed to me. "It's her fault." Fern joined in. "All her fault. She won't take us to the center." "Yeah, she said we can't go no more." Cecile turned to me. "Delphine, what did you do?" I spoke as plainly as I could. There was no use in speaking small-mouthed. I told Sister Mukumbo we're not going to the Free Huey rally 2 Saturdays from now, or coming back to the center. "Why'd you tell her that?" "It's dangerous," I said. "The police shot a teenager for being with the Black Panthers. They could shoot Black Panthers and kids at the center." Cecile looked at me like I was stupid, but also with disbelief that I was her daughter. "Did anyone shoot at you, Delphine?" Her voice was calm and clear, not crazy. I felt stupid. "No." "Did they point a gun at you?" "No." "Did anyone put a gun in your hand?" "No." Cecile said, "Y'all get dressed and go. They might still be serving breakfast." I couldn't believe she'd make us go back to a place where we could get shot. But then I returned to my good common sense. Of course Cecile wouldn't care if we got shot up by the police. I told Cecile, "We'll go for breakfast. We'll go for summer school. We won't be going to no rally. That's just a pot of boiling trouble cooking. Y'all two, get in there and brush your teeth. Wash your faces." Cecile crooked her head toward the bathroom. As soon as Vanetta and Fern got up and left the room, she stepped in closer to me. I was genuinely afraid. "You watch how you talk to me, you hear?" I nodded in reply, and I was no nodder. She wouldn't accept my nod. "No," she said, "you got a mouth, so I want to hear you." I said, "Yes, ma'am." That old-fashioned word just crawled right out. Cecile grunted. "That's the problem right there, his mammy. You sound just like her, like a country mule." I think that set Cecile off more than my saying we weren't going to the rally. Me sounding like Big Ma. Cecile went back to her kitchen, fussing up a full steam like she was talking to someone. Me. That she couldn't have us here, messing up her peace of mind, and that she couldn't work with us in her house. Cecile carried on a full conversation, on and on as we walked out the door. Crazy. Vanetta and Fern were only too glad to be headed toward the center. They couldn't stop rubbing it in. "See, Delphine, you can't tell us what to do," Vanetta said. "Surely can't. 'Cause we're going to the center, and we're going to the rally." "Surely are. And we're going to sing our song and do our dance. And you can't be in it with us." But Fern didn't go along with Vanetta on the last one. Not that I wanted to be in it. Still, a small part of me was glad. Fern had always been mine. I wasn't in a hurry to go inside when we got to the center, but I followed my sisters when they pushed the doors open. Vanetta and Fern couldn't eat the late breakfast and rejoin Sister Mukumbo's class fast enough. I found myself dragging behind them, feeling badly for myself. No one ever called a take-back eating crispy fried chicken. They called it eating crow, and with good reason. Not that I'd actually eaten a black crow, but with my words stuck in my throat and my eyes cast down, I knew what eating crow was. I knew that having to eat crow when you were once proud and right was like swallowing a hunk of tough, chewy crow meat that wasn't about to go down easy. Sister Mukumbo didn't make me feel like the nothing I knew I was. Her bangles jangled about her wrists as she welcomed us back into class. Everyone was practicing their parts in a play for the rally, and she said we had arrived just in time. They could use more actors for the class's reenactment of Harriet Tubman leading slaves to freedom. Vanetta was mad because Janice was to be Harriet Tubman. I knew I'd hear about Vanetta missing out on being the star of the play for the next 7 days. Later, after Sister Pat led us through calisthenics in the yard, Eunice came over and sat with me. "Thought y'all weren't coming back." "We weren't." "Then why are you here?" Eunice had a lot of nerve and a lot of mouth, asking me why my sisters and I were back at the center. I had nothing to say to Eunice. I already felt bad. I shrugged, although I was no shrugger. "You were just showing off, telling Sister Mukumbo how you and your sisters weren't coming to the rally, like you're in charge." "For your information, I am in charge of my sisters." "Oh, yeah? So why are you back then?" The last thing I would do was tell Eunice Ankton that we were here because Cecile shooed us away to write her poems. "'Cause," I said. I couldn't figure out why Eunice sat there with me. It was bad enough to feel stupid. I didn't need anyone sitting with me, reminding me of it. My sisters were having a good time. Fern and the youngest Ankton girl, Beatrice, taught each other hand-clapping songs. Janice and Vanetta chased after Hirohito and his friends, but they were only after Hirohito. He'd zig left and right, escaping the girls each time they came within tagging distance. Finally, Janice managed to tag him and run. Vonetta was upset that she hadn't tagged him first, but that didn't stop her from cackling and squealing along with Janice. Janice and Vonetta were one and the same fool. Eunice beat me to making a sound of disgust. I said, I wouldn't hardly be chasing after no Hirohito Woods. Me neither, she agreed. I hated telling her I was only going into the 6th grade when she was going into the 8th grade. At least I was an inch taller than she was. Hirohito, she said, was going into the 7th grade. I told Eunice her dress was nice. Then she showed me the inside stitching. Once I saw the crisscross of her mother's neat hand stitching, I decided I liked Eunice Ankton. She wasn't the big girl who thought her clothes were better than mine, or the girl who sided with Hirohito Woods and made me feel ignorant for not knowing he was half-colored and half-Japanese. We were 2 older sisters watching our younger sisters playing games and running around making fools of themselves. We were both the oldest girls in our families, and we knew the same things.